Bob says boycott Activision Blizzard. Let's talk about Overwatch 2. Uh, there's been some news about Overwatch 2 replacing Overwatch, making Overwatch unplayable, unaccessible. So let me remind you to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel so we can get some delicious tacos later on tonight. All right, so Overwatch 2, this is from Kotaku. Let me close this damn ad. That's right, I don't use ad blocker. Kotaku article says Overwatch 2 will replace the original, making it unplayable in October. At least Blizzard's upcoming hero shooter will be free to play across all platforms.
Risky.
This, I think, is just without even reading the article. This is complete and utter bullshit. Okay, because Overwatch wasn't free to play, right? You had to pay for it. It was cost money. So some people spent actual money to own the game and play the game. And now you're taking away their access to the game completely, making it unplayable. It's not unplayable because, we've moved on to a new console generation, which, sucks, but is at the very least something we're used to, right? And it's not being unplayable because the company shut down and the servers don't work no more, which again sucks, but at the very least it's understandable. This is basically like saying, hey, we don't want you to play the old product. We want you to play the new product, so we're rendering it unplayable on purpose. And I think either you should refund people their money, that all the money they spent on their copies of the game and all the loot boxes and all that kind of stuff, or you should fucking leave the game alone. And I do know that Potion Sword says nobody would jump over to the new one without this happening. That's not my problem. That sounds like a Blizzard problem, not a Tony problem, right? If you can't figure out how to get them to go to the next game, that's a you problem. That maybe there shouldn't be a next game.
Is this just them shutting down the servers, like so that you can't get online and do like online playing anymore? I never played Overwatch. Is there like a one player? Is there like a campaign?
There isn't a campaign, but they did have that there was some one player content, single player content put into the game.
I mean, don't most games eventually shut down anyways, like the servers?
Yeah, but not usually. Like it'd be like if
7
NBA
years?
2022 shuts down the server for NBA 2023, right? Like, oh, you can't play last year's game because we got a new game coming out.
Yeah, but that's only a year. This has been in 7 years.
Again, that doesn't sound like a me problem, Days. That sounds like a Blizzard problem.
Yeah, but don't most games do that though? Like, don't most companies do that? Wouldn't that be like after 7 years though? I mean, I get it; it sucks, but you had 7 years to play the game. All right.
Not to cut you off, but
yeah, you cut me off. Go ahead.
Let's get the information and be accurate. It says if you had a sneaking suspicion that Blizzard's current in-beta hero shooter Overwatch 2 would affect the 2016 original game in some way, you were absolutely correct. It turns out that when the upcoming sequel drops on October 4th, it will straight up replace Overwatch, rendering that now 7-year-old game unplayable. Now, what was all the folks from both games being able to play with each other? Remind me because my memory sucks. The news comes from a Reddit AMA folks from the Overwatch 2 development team. That's the other thing, Days. They had said that when the new game came out, that the people from the old game and the new game were going to be able to play together.
Oh, okay.
It says it's full of answers on the game's early access period and what's in store once it launches this October. Game director Aaron Keller was also in attendance and fielded some questions, one of which asked what exactly early access meant. More specifically, the Redditor wondered whether Overwatch 2 would replace Overwatch's PvP or shut the game down entirely. We're using the term early access to indicate this is just the start of many new things to coming to the game, Keller said. We're launching with new heroes, maps, and features. There are even more of these coming seasonally, every 9 weeks. We recently released a roadmap detailing some of this content, with a new hero coming in Season 1 and 2, and a new map in Season 2. Additionally, larger pieces of the game that have always been a part of the vision of Overwatch 2 will be released to the game as part of the live service, including the launch of PvE campaign next year. When Overwatch 2 launches on October 4th, it will be a replacement for the current live service. It sounds like Overwatch is effectively becoming Overwatch 2 when the sequel releases. While this contradicts what former game director Jeff Kaplan said about the two being a shared multiplayer environment when Overwatch 2 was announced in November 2019, at least the sequel will be free to play. However, this does mean that the structure of Overwatch, including stuff like the 6v6 setup, will officially get retired in favor of Overwatch 2's new 5v5 matches. At least all your progress will carry over to the new game. Kotaku has reached out to Blizzard for comment. This Reddit AMA comes not long after an Overwatch 2 reveal event, which detailed the seasonal roadmap, clarified that there won't be any loot boxes, and showed off the new tank hero Junker Queen. This all is surrounded by the ongoing legal troubles publisher Activision Blizzard just can't escape, and that's the end of the article. So it sounds like that they're just going to straight up turn Overwatch into Overwatch 2.
What do you think, Bob?
I'm a bit torn on it. Like, on the one thing, like, I think it's like another time where it brings into question the whole talk about game preservation and like that sort of stuff. But on the other hand, I kind of do see it as a bit of a nothing burger in a way, because Overwatch, I think its player base is like completely dipped off, and it's a good way. I can see the benefits, because when you bring out a new game in a series, it can be hard transitioning people from the old game to the new game. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one.
I guess I'm just still trying to think. Like, I'm thinking of games that came out 7 years ago, games that I played that over time, and that's the thing. That is the thing about, not having physical media. Like, you're gonna eventually lose this crap, some of this stuff, and that does suck. But I'm trying to think of like games. Like, are there still games? I mean, I know there are, but are there other games from like 10 years ago that what like servers are shut down now? That, I mean, some of the older Call of Duties I know, and the older Halos and all this. Like, is it not normal though eventually for this to happen to any game?
I'm not fully aware on like the last 7 years, but like when it comes to like the Halo games, that was like last generation. Like they're like closing the service for like a game which was on like the Xbox 360.
Right. Like, this was from the Xbox One era, right?
Yeah.
And now here we are in a new generation.
56K Warning says Overwatch 1 takes about 30 minutes to get one loot box. Overwatch 2 uses Season Pass. Lol. I think it is a weird issue, because physical media would not have addressed the issues with this, because it is online, like an online, always online game.
No, it's different, yeah.
And if they're completely replacing, if you signed into Overwatch and now it's Overwatch 2, right? It just automatically changed, as if a patch, like if they patched Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2. Again, physical media is not going to do anything for you, right?
No.
It's just like Overwatch 1 is being erased completely. I think that's...
Sorry, go ahead.
As I say, I think that if they are doing that, if they're going that route where basically Overwatch 2 is replacing Overwatch 1, they should just have a simple prompt at the beginning. You sign in and it says, do you want to play Overwatch 1 or do you want to play Overwatch 2? And Overwatch 1 will allow you to still have the 6v6 and only the old heroes, and then Overwatch 2 will allow you to play with the new heroes in the 5v5 match.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. I like that idea, but I just like, going back to, I don't think they care anymore. They're more about money.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a risk. Well, go ahead.
Potion Sword Run says Tony wants to play his games forever, though. I don't think Tony owns Overwatch 1. I do actually own Overwatch 1. I've played it.
I was going to say though, I think that's the risk you take nowadays when you buy a game that doesn't have like a one-player mode or much of one-player mode, that eventually you're going to lose this game. If it's online, it can be gone at any time.
Well,
this is the risk that you take.
That is, well, just to contradict you a little bit there, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are two types of services for online games. You have dedicated servers where it's like you say, the servers on the company side or whichever side, and when that gets shut down, you can't play. And then there's what do you call it? There's servers where it's run by like the console basically, so that a game can't be taken offline. Peer-to-peer.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
But like generally peer-to-peer servers, which is mostly, I think, what Nintendo uses, they're not as good as dedicated servers.
Right.
Because then you get things like on Gears of War that the host who is hosting the game and everyone's connecting to their game gets less ping and have an advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no good.
And I know everyone's saying, well, the game is what, 6 years, 7 years old, right?
Yeah.
Almost 8. I think almost 8 years. Because it was announced in 2014. But you got to remember, it was constantly getting updates, right? New heroes. We got new heroes in 2019. We got a new hero in 2020. Right? So the game overall is like 7 years old, but the content is, like I said, it's had new content 2 years ago, which isn't a long time.
Yeah.
And when you get a new hero, you're going to get new balance, new game mechanics, new matchups. People are going to be interested in the game again.
New meta.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but they got to keep, like, even if it was 2 years ago, they got to keep at least. Is that stuff that you would buy? Is that like new DLC, or is it like just a new update? You said like a free update.
It's a new update, so you would get a new hero be introduced into the game and into the rotation.
Oh, okay. So you're not, but they got to do that though. They got to try to keep the game fresh. I mean, they can't just like abandon it, not give it updates, and then 4 years later be like, okay, now it's done. I think it wouldn't be fair if they weren't giving it updates. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
What I'm saying is the updates were still coming with, as recent as 2 years ago. So it's not like it's been 6 years since the last update. So, the game has died off.
I guess I'm kind of playing devil's advocate for the company that owns it, because it's like they've got to keep releasing you updates. They got to keep people coming back. And eventually, it's just got to go away. Yeah, if they weren't, it would completely get stale.
Call of Duty just comes out. You get 3 or 4 DLC maps, and
true. But then they come out with a new Call of.
Right.
They come out with like a new Call of Duty almost every year, though. This has
right.
been 7
so
years.
Overwatch could have did that, and Overwatch decided instead of doing that, they would give you more content to keep you playing the game.
Yeah, but they gave you 7 years. That's a long time. I don't know, Tony. I'm going to disagree with you on this one.
I'm 50-50. I'm undecided. I see arguments for both sides.
I just feel like if it's like you got a good 7 years out of it, and they were giving you updates all along, they didn't just abandon you. So they supported your purchase, and now they're just ready to move on to Overwatch 2. That's just my 2 cents, though.
I think the issue I'm having is that they're replacing the Overwatch, right? If they just released an Overwatch 2 and left Overwatch 1 alone.
Right.
And I know people are like, well, move to the new game, but I think a lot of people will, because it is a new game. You got new characters, new meta. There's going to be more interest in it.
Yeah. I just don't think it benefits the company for them to do that. I don't think there'd be any reason for them to do that, because they're looking at their bottom line at that point.
You got something to add to this?
What does Blinded have to say?
No, I have no clue about the story.
Right.
Well, so for some reason I'm not logged in. So.
Usually you pop in to try to dunk on one of us.
No, I was just like curious because the story sounded interesting, but I didn't actually look at the article.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think 7 years is enough for a game and then you can move on? Or do you think that they still owe the fans something after that long ago of a purchase?
Well, that's what I wanted to know about the story was like, isn't this just the free to play part of the game?
No,
I don't know.
Overwatch
Tony
2
said you had to pay for the first one.
the first
Yeah.
one was
Yeah,
paid.
you have to pay. Yeah, but I mean, like, this is only happening to the online section, which is going to be free to play.
Yeah, but he's saying he wants to still be able to have access to his game that he paid for, the first one. It'll just be gone.
Oh, so if you have Overwatch 1, a physical edition, and you go to online, it's not going to work because they
it's
transfer
done.
to the.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really kind of stupid though. But I mean, the game is like, the first game is being updated to be free to play, and it's also going to get all the sequel enhancements, but they're just not going to give it to the people who bought the game.
No. The physical editions, from my understanding, you go to access online, but it's not going to take you to Overwatch 1. It would take you to Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
same
Okay.
way.
Yeah.
But see, Overwatch 1 has 6v6, and Overwatch 2 is only going to have 5v5.
5v5.
At least at jump. So it's going to be different in gameplay and stuff like that. The maps, I believe, are slightly different.
It's like, from what it looked like, it seemed like it was going to be the same maps, but like slightly tweaked.
Yeah.
With obviously additional maps, but yeah.
I just think I don't understand if you have the contents there, right? You're building Overwatch 2 obviously on top of Overwatch 1.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just leave the stuff you have in place and then just add the extra, right?
Maybe because at that point they're going to be maintaining 2 games.
Yeah, and also the cost of having, I don't know, they'd probably have to have separate servers for the separate player bases.
Well, I'm saying if you're putting Overwatch 2 in place of Overwatch 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I said, just leave it accessible to like, oh, do you want to play the 6v6 or do you want to play the 5v5? Just like a giant expansion pack, basically slapped onto Overwatch 1.
But I mean, does I was asking in the chat, does Overwatch 1 have a campaign?
No.
That's what I asked.
No,
they don't.
Okay. Then
There's nothing left.
There was some DLC that did some PvE, but it was just like one-off like map.
Then I would kind of agree with you. That seems a little bit weird because it's like if you're paying for the online, I mean, I guess at this point it's sort of like expected, but because the game is so popular, why ask the people like why and what like they should come up with at least some sort of like compensation though.
I think they're going to carry over like stuff from the first game to the second game.
Yeah, and if they're carrying over your character progression and stuff like that, then again, it is essentially Overwatch 1 with the Overwatch 1 stuff ripped off, the new stuff put on top of it.
Well, that's what people are already saying about the beta.
Yeah. So that's why I don't understand. It's like saying, if I got a sundae, right? You're like, hey, instead of just putting a cherry on top, no, I'm going to take your vanilla ice cream out, give you new vanilla ice cream, and then put the cherry on top. And I'm like, dude,
what's the point of that?
New and improved vanilla ice cream, though.
But it's the same.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
It's really the same thing. Like from what I heard,
then what's the whole point? Then what's the point of a new game?
I think they wanted to do something like Fortnite because like Fortnite did like this whole thing where they were, we're making it a sequel, like Chapter 2 or whatever it's called. So I think that's what they're trying to do. But like, Fortnite was already free to play.
Yeah, that's true because you can't go back and play like the original Fortnite maps and stuff. I mean, it just evolved.
I think they should have like done this way earlier. Like, in my opinion, Overwatch should have been a free to play game, probably like 2017. like a year after release, because it was like
Yeah.
I never really got too much into it, and honestly, I don't really care all that much. Like it's one of those games where, to me, I didn't really like how it played, and honestly, I didn't really care for the community. So, but Blizzard is quite weird, so I mean, it's kind of expected at this point.
That is true.
To me, it's a bit of a tricky one as well because Overwatch 2 is going free to play, which I think is like a good move. But it's almost, and I think they're mainly doing it to try to reinvigorate the brand, like the game, and bring new players in and make it more accessible.
Yeah, because paid on multiplayer is pretty much dead at this point. Like if you come out with a paid multiplayer game, like it's not going to survive. Like just look at what happened with the newest Battlefield. Like that's like what, the second time in a row Battlefield was a dud. Like and obviously Call of Duty has Warzone, right? And I'm sure like going forward, Warzone is going to be probably more integrated with the multiplayer that comes out every year. So and Halo 2 is also kind of, I mean, they went free to play, but it was still a mess in my opinion.
56K Warning says Overwatch 1 removal is to not split the player count. Overwatch player count ain't that big. You know what? I could see, I bet you, mark my words, 6 months to 9 months, they'll announce a DLC or an update or something. Now you can play those Overwatch 1 maps that you missed so much. Now we reintroduced 6v6, guys.
They might. It's kind of like the McRib. You know, they take it away from you, and then, the McRib is back.
Yeah.
E King says W2F is Overwatch. It's a 6v6 hero. I don't want to say FPS, but
it's almost like a MOBA shooter.
Yeah.
Which, I hate MOBAs. They suck. That's why I never got into it.
I was into Overwatch for about 3 or 4 months, but then I kept cycling back and forth in the ranks, like because I don't have a steady group of people I play with. So you get randoms, and you get sometimes you get real good teammates, sometimes you get real shitty teammates.
That's what I deal with Halo. It's like trash. I have no friends to play Halo with me.
But at least Halo, right? The Master Chief is the same, right?
That's true, but everyone's skill level is different.
Right, but like, let's say that I'm playing Overwatch. There's really no way to practice like a new hero, right? So like, okay,
I just have to learn.
I want to try a different hero, right? I want to try McCree this time. So now you have to go to learn, and then people are like, "Oh, you fucking suck as McCree." I'm like, "Yeah, because fuck, it's the first time I'm using them, right?" Like,
yeah, that's why you just mute everybody.
So it got a little frustrating. I'm like, fuck this. I was just a soldier, 76, and a diva main, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna switch. McCree is a banned word in Overwatch. Yeah, that's true. They changed McCree's name because it was based on one of the people that was acting a little out of pocket.
Sus. Oh boy.
So that's all I gotta say about Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of my way. This dude's getting hot takes, so you might as well.